Hey, do you work from home? I used to think that work from home was all about like a cool office setup, which I've got. But in a lot of ways, working from home is sometimes more difficult than people make it out to be. I also think it can be less cool than people make it out to be. I'm sitting here on the couch with my laptop, and I've got my to-do list here. I've got a million things going through my head. I'm trying to get settled and prepare for the day. I've got a lot to do today and not a lot of time to do it in. So I'm mapping and I'm coming up with all these different structures. Do I work for 20-minute sprints? Pomodoro method, if you're familiar with that. Do I dig in on topic when I don't have a whole, open window? What does this look like? And when people talk about working from home, what they usually think is that they wear pajamas and, like no one tracks their accountability. But I actually think that what working from home is really about is working from a place that you feel focused. Depending on where that is, that might mean home, like actually home, your living room, your couch, could be a coffee shop. It doesn't really matter. Working from home and the idea is what is going to be most productive. So as I sit here today, I'm thinking about, where does it make sense to work? Where does it feel like there is, I don't know, an excitement and enthusiasm about the work? And given that I travel a lot, often for work, given that I have traveled a lot for just the joy of traveling, I kind of think of working from home like working from safety. And that's been helpful to reframe because it can be actually very distracting to work from home. I bet you understand that. To work from home means that all the things, right? TV, food, bedroom, chores, to-do list, task list, upgrades, they all mix into your work focus. And it gets very, very easy to be distracted. And it's just kind of funny how much discipline is needed to work from home. I think that building a dream, building a business, getting a vision to the next level requires you to have a really good discipline. You have to say no a lot. You have to say no to a lot of things. You have to say no to distractions. You have to say no to small opportunities so you can take on big ones. You have to let things go. You have to say no to the wrong customers. You have to say no to people that don't respect your craft and what you do or your process. You have to respect people that are unwilling to meet you where you are, whether that's meeting remote or handling the business remotely or having meetings from afar. It just forces a lot of really good introspection, in my opinion. Part of what I've recognized as a pattern with people is that they want to build a business where they work remote. Two things really matter. One is, are you in a position where you can operate the business remote? And then two, have you built the business to where it can operate remote? Those are two distinct things. Some people have a business where technically they can, but they don't have the patterns down to really make it work. I think on the other side, there's a struggle with the business doesn't actually operate well remote. And that might be for a variety of reasons too, right? Like maybe your industry is more difficult, or maybe you have to meet face to face, or maybe that's the way it's always been done. Who knows? But when we really stress test both of those things, often one of them fails. And most of the men and women that we've worked with want a life where they can go. They want a life where they can travel, they can be away, but they haven't necessarily built that life. It isn't easy to build that life. And I think it takes discipline once you have it. So we get to an interesting place talking about working from home, right? Again, laptop in lap, notepad right here. There's so much that has to really be intentional when we build a vision. And we can all build a vision of like more, right? More money, more space at home. What else? Usually we want more time. We want more time freedom, like all these things. But we don't often think about what we end up losing or sacrificing because nothing's free, right? The trade off is there. If you want more work from home, well, you might have to give up the office, or you might have to give your employees, your team, more ability to work remote, and you might not want that. I've heard it all in so many ways. I want remote. I want remote. I want to be able to work from anywhere. I want to have days where I don't have to go into the office, or days where I get to do whatever I want. And I think that entrepreneurship begets the question of like, okay, are you willing to pay the cost? Are you willing to pay the toll? You want to get to the other side. Are you willing to pay the toll? Work from home is another toll. We don't talk about the cost of work from home on members of the family. Like I've had Emerson here numbers of times, and he can get distracted if I'm here and there's a caregiver here working with him. I've had moments where I have friends in town, and I need to get stuff done, but they're here, so I'm trying to like work calls in around their schedule. It can be interesting to actually look at the cost of it. It also requires real structure. If you are easily distractible, oh man, work from home will not work. Uh, so I think it's important that as you identify what kind of lifestyle you want, if you want to work remote, that you also ask the question, what's this look like for you? Like, are you actually good enough to do your work remote? Not everyone is great on Zoom. Not everyone is great working at their house. Not everyone is disciplined enough and structured enough to not get distracted by the 10,000 things that are available. Not doing laundry in the middle of the day. Like, there's stuff like that you can do, but you're going to lose focus real fast. And we've watched it time and time again with clients trying to make change. Uh, as I kind of like think about plugging in too, and getting bigger and bigger, and what we're doing to pursue growth, it also requires you to like make the rules fit, right? You have to like keep work remote. You have to keep those things. So when someone says, "Hey, can we do it this way?" You have to hold your boundaries. You have to know your boundaries pretty well. It's been interesting to learn. I've learned a lot about myself and what I want through this process, and in all of these things, have also learned to set lanes. And if there's a reasonable request to make an adjustment, or it's in a one-time way, happy to do that. But if someone actually compromises the like work from home thing, probably not going to work. So it's good to know your lanes. It's good to know your targets. It's good to know what you want and what you want to build. But it is also a crazy ride uh, that forces us to really hone back into criteria, right? Vision and discipline, both those things. I'm curious, do you struggle working from home? Do you struggle making things happen when you're left alone?